what is one of the biggest misnomers in your business? What is it that people think works but doesn't work? Do you know what I mean? Or what do people rely on? Or what assumptions do they make that they shouldn't be making?
Yeah, I'd say one of the biggest things that people really think about, but that they don't really consider is when you have a product, they think if they make a product, whether it's it's a technology, it's a course, it's something related to creating masterminds or student work, or even doing anything, let's say in real estate, just going buying and selling houses. They think that once you put up a banner and you say, "Hey, I'm in business," that everybody's just going to come forward and start saying, "Hey, I would love your business or your product, and I'm just going to start working with you." And a lot of business owners realize later on in the cycle of actually starting their business and trying to scale it that that's just not how it works. People have to actually have and budget for a marketing strategy, and sometimes that involves investing in certain platforms. Sometimes it involves an education, understanding how do you craft a marketing message, how do you systemize that, how do you put it all together so that you can facilitate your sales process.
The average business in the US has a marketing budget of $300 a month. Don't you think that's kind of why maybe the so many businesses fail? Because you have someone that starts a business because they're a plumber, they know plumbing, they're a chef, they want to start opening a restaurant. They know and have a passion for their industry, but they don't understand what it takes to get that industry off the ground and take it to different steps along the way.
Yeah, a lot of them really start by word of mouth, or maybe they start with cold calling. Now, cold texting is a big marketing method, and so they're under this preconception that finding buyers doesn't cost as much as it really does. But once you start realizing that you're limited either by time or you're limited by capacity to do a certain amount of sales while you're doing the fulfillment of that product, then they start thinking, okay, we got to do some sort of marketing, or they think that if they don't think they can actually do the marketing, they think they're already capped. Like there's no more sales we can possibly do, right? Once they transition to the point where okay, we can find a way to scale, we can build teams, we can do more work. Well, how do we get more people to buy from us? And I think at that point, because they've never been accustomed or associated any sort of budget or dollar amount to the cost per customer, per inbound customer, then they start to view marketing as an expense, not necessarily as almost like an opening a door to the larger majority of the market.
Would you say that there are marketing consultants that promote a wide range of approaches, or does it really all come down to use the phrase blocking and tackling, X's and O's? Does everybody understand that, or do you see other people who are in the marketing consulting profession promoting things that maybe have a much longer, take much longer to come to fruition? Do you find that
Yeah,
there's a faster way to get to that?
yeah, I think it really does. It does make a difference when you actually niche into a particular set of customers that you're going to work with as a marketing consultant, right? Not every marketing channel is going to work for every business. Sometimes some will work much better than others, right? So Glenn and I know each other because we're in the SEO industry, but not we know that a lot of industries, a lot of people will not benefit that greatly, either long term or short term, from SEO as much as other methods of marketing. And I think that there are some marketing consultants who they have a preference, right? Let's say they only do SEO. They have a preference to just look for SEO clients, and they'll try to make it work however they can. And then there are some who will niche down into something like AC or something like what I'm doing, real estate investing. So in real estate investing, we know that to get a cost, to get the lowest cost per contract, right now text marketing is by far the best. So if I go to someone and say, hey, SEO is the way to go, but I know that most of these guys aren't going to have the ability to wait, 8 months to a year to actually start benefiting from that, I can tell them, all right, look, if you're not doing text marketing, if your follow-up process is no good, if you don't have proper web authority, there's a lot of different things you can do in the meantime to really benefit from. And so I know that because of the niche. If I came in and didn't know how real estate investors could possibly get more sellers or work with buyers, then I wouldn't know that, hey, text marketing is going to give you an average of $70 per cost per contract. Cold calling is probably going to be somewhere around 250. PPC is probably going to be somewhere around 8,000, right? So I wouldn't be able to give them these comparisons and give them an actual strategy and connect the dots for them.
Don't you think that's kind of something that most business owners, I think, maybe aren't aware of and should be, because they always have that marketer contacting them saying this is the next best thing since ice cream, when a lot of these things are kind of generalities. And what works literally for, and it could be the same industry in two different cities, is going to have a slight variance of what's going to work there, and neighboring things. So when you're talking about a real estate investor versus a real estate agent, there's some different nuances there.
Right.
So do you find that a lot of business owners maybe have a bad opinion about marketing or optimization or anything like that because they've been sold a bill of goods from somebody that had one little niche that didn't work for their niche?
Oh yeah, 100%. That especially is true for online marketing marketers. When they get into, like, in our niche, for example, there's plenty of people attempting to do Facebook ads, right? There are plenty of people attempting to do SEO and PPC, and they think that they've been approached by so many people in these methodologies that Facebook ads, for example, has a pretty bad reputation for real estate investors. It's kind of known for spending a ton of money getting poor quality leads, when in reality it's because they're just copying each other's creative, right? They're all sending the same message in the ads. They're not creating any true marketing message that's going to, they don't have someone on that marketing team that's actually crafting the copywriting and crafting the offer, and they don't know anything about that. So there is a a lot of these guys are calling themselves marketers. Really, they're just experts in a particular marketing channel, right? They're not somebody who's a strategist, and they're not really somebody who's connecting the dots. And most business owners don't realize they need someone like that to actually figure out what their unique marketing strategy would be.